Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a down south education on Florida sports and athletics. It's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Damn! Green team! Set! Hey!
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Palm Tree Sports. My name is Corey Pujols. I am your host. And as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Guys, I do apologize for the start. It's a little bit later than normal. There were some technical difficulties. However, we were able to get that solved. We were able to get that figured out. And here's hoping that the weather will also stay good for us because it has been raining off and on all day. However, I am still here, we are still here, and we're going to get right into what's going on. Coming out of the Sunshine State today, there's a lot of heartbreak, a lot of hurt in the sports world here, but also a lot to be happy about, and I think that's what we're focused on right now is what to be happy about here in South Florida. Now, guys, for those who do not know, you can reach me on Twitter, Instagram, where we're talking about sports all the time, guys. I usually do that at the end, but I want to do that at the beginning because I know that it's been a long time coming now. I've been doing this for a while, and I've been running into people left and right talking about all kind of different things. And if you want to be involved in that conversation, give me a shout out on there anytime, and we can get into it about anything you want to talk about. But since this show is covering Florida, that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and get into the NFL, and let's talk about what's going on there. So, the first thing to start is in the world of Tampa Bay. For the Buccaneers, that would be the team in concern right there. They are reaching out to Mike Evans. They are trying to get an extension done for his contract that would push him to retire as a Buccaneer. Now, I think a lot of people saw this coming. This is something that Tampa Bay isn't necessarily known for in the past, and I'm glad that they're doing it now, giving the players, especially those who have committed and given everything they have to the organization, a chance to retire with the team. That in itself is one heck of a blessing, and it's something that I look forward to seeing for Mike Evans and for a few other Buccaneers. So I'm very glad that we are able to get in contact with him about that and start making those kind of moves. He absolutely deserves it, and guys, just don't be surprised, when he gets that check, because it's going to be a big one, guys. It's going to be a big one. Now, that's not the only good news. Actually, we have quite a bit of good news coming out of the Buccaneers, and some of that is in the form of them being able to sign their first and third overall draft picks from this year's past draft, which would be Kalijah Kancey, who's our first-round draft pick, and Yaya Diaby. I always feel like I'm going to say his name incorrectly, but that was our third-round edge prospect, if I remember correctly. Now, with that being said, we still have to sign our second rounder, and then I'm sure there are some undrafted free agents that we would still like to get our hands on, as this team is still redeveloping. Let me just remind you that this team is not dead in the water. I know a lot of people are not expecting Tampa Bay to do much this season, but per what's been going on in training camp, the defense has looked pretty good. These guys have come up, they're showing up, they're playing tough. It's a crew that's been together for the most part for a while now, as both Tristan Wirfs and let me see, Tristan Wirfs, and one other player. He was drafted in the same draft, if I remember correctly, to Antoine Winfield have restructured their contract. So I wanted to get the names out so you guys could have the image in your head. But they have restructured their contracts in hopes of creating more cap space for Tampa Bay. As you guys know, Tampa Bay is dead last in cap space. They have no money. We have no money. Not they, we. I'm going to rock with this team until the ship sinks. So, speaking of ship, we also signed a kicker, okay, Rodrigo Blankenship. Now, I believe that's the kid that played for Georgia. So, by default, I'm not a fan. But I hope he's able to do his job. For me, that's it. We used to have Ryan Suckup as our kicker. Now, that's a guy that's really reliable. And my demeanor has slowed down a little bit because I'm really thinking about him. Like, I'm really hoping that this isn't a problem for us this year. This guy's a young guy, and he's unproven, obviously. So we're just going to have to hope that he's going to be able to hold his leg up and do what needs to be done for the greater part of Florida. Or for the greater part of Tampa Bay, that is. Which is, not send us back to kicker hell. For those who have that issue across the NFL, there have been a few teams that have struggled with kickers in the past. But for those of you who remember Tampa Bay's almighty struggle, we drafted a kicker. I believe it was in the third round. It was a second or third round, just absolutely where you're not supposed to draft a kicker. And unfortunately, he was terrible. All right, he was just absolutely terrible. So, guys, this is something that we're hoping is nipped in the bud here. But at the same time, it's something to be excited about because for all intents and purposes, vacant positions on the team's roster are being filled left and right, which is something that you need before the season starts. So hey, we'll see what happens, and hopefully, like I said, he's able to hold up his end of what we would consider to be the bargain. Now, moving over to the other two teams, which are less exciting to talk about currently because they don't have as much going on. See, when you're a stable team like the Jaguars and for all intents and purposes the Miami Dolphins, you don't have to worry about filling such vacant positions. Now you have to worry about backing up those positions, and that's what the Jaguars and the Fins are both trying to do here this offseason. So let's start with the Jaguars as far as teams outside of Tampa Bay is concerned. Trevor Lawrence, his voice and his leadership has been mentioned many times throughout the Jaguars coaching staff and the other players on the team. They say that it carries huge weight with the players on the team, meaning his word is bond. So whatever he says as a player, you're going to want to rock with it. That's your leader. That's your guy. When you lead men into battle, which essentially is what you do as a quarterback and as a head coach, your team needs to know that their best player, or at least their best position, is filled to the brim in blessings and technique, right? This is the example with Trevor Lawrence. This is a young guy who's doing nothing but rising above the occasion more times than not. He showed out in college, was absolutely tremendous, and it's only been able to translate into the NFL for the first 3 years. I imagine somewhere down the line we'll be looking at Trevor Lawrence as a Super Bowl champion. Okay? So that's my image for him. I can't wait to see what happens, obviously. I say that every week, but I mean it. The guy's just super blessed. Super, super blessed. I mean, he's got football IQ out of this world, and for his age and a demeanor that could, I don't know, man. It's uncharacteristic for a third-year guy to have his kind of demeanor. So I just look forward to what he's able to do carrying this team. Now, the team is still trying to reach a deal for the new stadium. Now, we've seen the projected images of what the stadium could look like and what the projected amount that they would be spending is, which is well over $1 billion. And this is one of those things where the mayor and the companies that are invested and they're going to build this thing, they are close to a deal. Now, we don't have many more details outside of that, but that in itself is big. And as you guys know from last week, I mentioned that they were looking at the Daytona Speedway for a possible place to play games while their stadium is being renovated. That will remain to be seen, and we will have to just wait until that deal gets wrapped up and it gets accepted. Once that happens, then we'll have a much clearer outline as to where they're going to be playing those games during the duration of this renovation for the stadium. So congratulations, Jags. You guys are very close to having a new home, and I imagine it's going to be a beautiful one. Like I said, the projected images look amazing, and if you haven't seen them, you can see them. You can go online and look at it. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of pictures floating around on. I've seen some on Twitter. I've seen some on Instagram, and I've seen some on Google, of course. You find everything on Google. So there you go, guys. If you want to have a look at that. Now, in the meantime, let's move on over to the Fins and let's talk about what they have going on. The Finns are in a different scenario altogether. They have a top 10 quarterback. Trevor Lawrence may be a top 10 quarterback, but Tua is definitely a top 10 quarterback when he's healthy. So, the goal is always to fix that. But the thing that seems to be standing out for the Dolphins now that we are in training camp is the secondary looks impressive. They just lack a lot of depth. Okay, I apologize for that, guys. I'm so sorry. They lack a lot of depth. Okay, and because they lack the depth, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we have a great defense on paper. As soon as somebody gets injured, then what? You see what I'm saying? And that's the importance behind having the depth on the team. I don't know if the guys that they have now they'll be able to carry on through the season without having a drop off in production as far as the secondary is concerned. So that's something to take in consideration, especially for the Dolphins. Like I said, great defense on paper. They're impressive early on in training camp, but all it takes is 1 or 2 injuries, and then your defense is completely depleted. We've seen that happen with multiple teams. We've seen that happen on both sides of the ball, so we know it's the case. So as long as the Finns can stay healthy, they'll have not too much to worry about. I suspect that they'll do a better job at this. I mean, when that's the biggest issue for you during the last season, when you go back and you reflect and you realize that it's one of those things that you realize you can fix, but it has to be fixed, especially in the Dolphins case, because your quarterbacks and your defensive players, they're going to have to stay on the field, especially for big plays. So the last thing is that obviously Dalvin Cook has been linked to the Miami Dolphins as a team that needs a premier running back, if you would allow me to use that terminology for what the Dolphins need as far as the production is concerned. In order to have a great play action fake game, you have to have a good running back. I mean, listen, defenses aren't going to sell out if your running back's trash, right? If your running back's not producing, or if you're not able to produce from the running back position, then you will unfortunately not be able to produce in the play action fake, which is something that Tom Brady lived and died by, and that's why I'm using that terminology. Yes, Tom Brady's the GOAT. However, when Leonard Fournette back there, the threat of running the ball always looms. When Leonard Fournette wasn't back there, it was a lot easier to read the play action. You see how those struggles kind of intertwine with what happened last year? Because the year before that, it was injury, right? So you can see where I'm coming from. In order for the Dolphins to be able to replicate that success that Tampa Bay had utilizing the play action as well as they did, especially in such a premier offense with Tyreek Hill and all these guys that are capable of just absolute feats of athleticism, you have to be able to account for that. So that's what we're hoping for with Miami, is that if they can get Dalvin Cook, then they'll be able to feature their play action pass offense much, much more, and they'll be that much more effective. And of course, that was where they were most successful last year, was off the play action. So keep that in mind, guys. I imagine if they were to get Dalvin Cook, that would all but seal their favorite, or sell them as the favorite, in my opinion, for the AFC East. So that is what is going on for the NFL in the state of Florida, guys. When we get back from this first break, we're going to talk NBA, MLB, NHL, and then what's going on in the wrestling world as far as tonight and tomorrow, and then we'll get into the fight night that's also going on the UFC's card, that is. So keep it locked here, and we'll be back in approximately 2 minutes with that information. Again, my name is Corey Pools, your host of Poultry Sports Radio, which is brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Alrighty, you guys, we are back at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And guys, for anybody who's watching the USFL game, the Stallions versus, is that the Eagles? I think Memphis has for their thing. It's tied 20-20 at the start of the fourth quarter, 12 minutes 21 seconds to go. This game has been good, guys. It's been going back and forth, left and right. So just a reminder that even though we don't have NFL, we do now have other pro football leagues that, though they may not be as exciting as the NFL is, still gives you a little something there, and also to help you remind you of just how spoiled we are to have the NFL, right? Because guys, I don't know about you, but when a sport goes away for the off season, I feel it. You know, I don't say maybe physically, but I definitely feel it in my schedule when I'm used to on Saturday afternoons just flipping on the game, you know, and just being a fan, right? It's what we all are, right? So, you know, that's just something to keep in mind for those who miss the NFL right now. Hey, you know, USFL, XFL, these different other leagues, Arena Football League, which we used to have, was, you know, phenomenal. So it gives you a little diversity there. But we already covered the NFL. Let's go ahead and jump into the NBA and what went on there. This is going to be one of the more sad parts of the show. I unfortunately called it, but then I think we all knew at the end of the third game or the fourth game that this series was pretty much over. I knew pretty much at the end of the third game that this series was over. I think that it's just kind of terrible, to say the least, guys. Miami has been to the finals 2 of the last 4 years, okay, in which they lost to the Lakers the first time. LeBron led Lakers, and then they lost to the Jokic-led Nuggets this year. All right, Spo now is 0-3 in his last finals appearances. Okay, and this team seems to have hit its ceiling. All right, I hate to have to use the term ceiling when talking about Miami and the type of talent that they have around the ball, but let's just call it like what it is. They failed at a lot of things in that Nuggets series. All right, they couldn't hang with the Nuggets, and I'm not going to call it on just altitude alone. The Nuggets played basketball in a way that is reminiscent of Kobe and Shaq. They played basketball in a way that is reminiscent of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. What I mean is the triangle offense that Phil Jackson utilized to win 11 championships today is still thriving as long as you have the right players, the right talent in the right place. And the Nuggets proved that this year. I'm not a big fan of the Nuggets, okay? But I have to give credit where credit is due, and I have to show the respect that is necessary for what this team was able to accomplish. Jokic is an absolute monster of a player. His basketball IQ is almost as high as it gets when you're not LeBron James. His passing is downright outrageous. I mean, the man deserves an Emmy Award for the way he can pass the ball or something, all right? Finals MVP, I don't think is just enough, okay? What he was able to do and elevating to wherever his teammates needed him to elevate. He realized if I'm in foul trouble by halftime, I need to start dishing out the ball more. If my team can't, you know, pull it together on the corner, let me start scoring. You know, let me put myself in position to score. Basically, doing what the greats do. LeBron, Kobe, Michael, all these guys in the past had that instinct to be able to say, hey, I need to do this so my team can be successful, and then execute. So congratulations to the Nuggets. Miami, I feel, you know, just heartbroken to know that my team is now 0-3, like I said, in the last 3 finals appearances. However, I understand that this is part of the game, and, you know, hey, look, even the Buffalo Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in a row, okay? So I will say that I 100% agree with that statement. Jimmy Butler does need help. Bam is not enough. And that leads us into the second interesting part of what's going on in Miami, and that is that they are trying to acquire Bradley Beal. I don't know if that's the help that they need, okay, because they're going to need to get bigger. At the end of the day, what the Nuggets did was explain to us why it's important to be good with your bigs inside. Okay, you have to. Like, at the end of the day, we're in a league right now where all of these teams have really solid bigs. Okay, yes, Bradley Beal from the Wizards. I'm going to use the Lakers for example, right? AD, but even if AD can't go, LeBron can play it. You see what I'm saying? He can play center. He can play all 5 positions. Now, that's 2 good centers. You see what I'm saying? If need be. It's the same thing with the Nuggets. You have Aaron Gordon and Jokic. Aaron Gordon and Jokic were nuts, dude. Aaron Gordon went off for like 47 points in Game 4, all right, or something like that, 42 points. It was ridiculous, okay? And then Jokic went too far behind, like 35. So, I'm saying that to say, when you look at the teams that are being successful, Philadelphia, they have an excellent big. Oh, God, what's the other team? We already talked about the Heat with Bam. That's an excellent big. The Lakers, the Nuggets, and Ja Morant has an excellent big, and Steven Adams. There are a ton of teams out there who made the playoffs, and they did it utilizing a very good big. So that's just something that I think the Miami Heat need to take notes of. Obviously, Bradley Beal isn't a big in that aspect, but he is athletic as all hell. So that's one of those guys where I could see them. Okay, you guys want to take the approach that the Golden State Warriors took, which is just be faster than everybody. All right, be faster than everybody. Yes, Green is a great big in the game, probably a top 5 big, but he's also very, very fast. Brook Lopez is another one that's a great one. That guy's absolutely bloomed up in front of all of our eyes since he's been in the league. He's gotten better each year. So that's a perfect example of what I mean. Like I said, Bradley Beal is going to offer them the same utility that basically Andre Iguodala kind of had with the Warriors. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we've seen with speed kills, right, guys? So we saw that with Dwayne Wade and LeBron James in Miami. We saw it with, like I said, with the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, you go Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson's a big guy, but he moves pretty well for a big guy. Yeah, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Iguodala, a team that's able to go small and still score on the perimeter. So if you guys are going to take that approach, that's a great approach. You got to get better at the 3, though, because, obviously Miami was very high and cold from 3-point land, which is part of the reason why some of the gaps in these games look like you could tell that the Nuggets just ran away and Miami was just shooting themselves in the foot. And I mean with like a pea shooter. Like, they easily could have created better plays off the ball and they just didn't. So, that's what's going on for Miami, and that's what they're going to need to do to get better. Like I said, one more big. Bradley Beal and another good big. Somebody that Bam can receive some help with, especially when they need to go Twin Towers. Like, if you got to go Twin Towers, go Twin Towers. The Nuggets just showed that it worked. So, there's my synopsis on that, guys. It is heartbreaking, but we love our team. We love Jimmy Butler. We love Eric Spoelstra. So, hey, good luck to Miami in this all season. Hopefully we can pull off some good signings to the point where we have the team necessary, not just to get back to the finals, but to actually bring one home, because I'd hate for them to go back and then just lose again the same exact way. And again, like I said, on the flip side, congratulations to the Nuggets for their first NBA championship victory. I remember what it was like when Tampa Bay won their first Super Bowl, so I can only imagine the kind of fun that they're having in Denver. Congratulations, you guys deserve it. Hopefully next season y'all don't win it. Okay, so there's that one, guys. Let us go ahead and move on into the MLB. I had to put a little bit of goodness in between the heartbreak, guys, so that's why the MLB is here right now instead of NHL. Now, we'll get into the NHL part a little bit later on in a minute, but I want to talk about the baddest team in Florida right now, okay? The baddest team, and I mean like the heavyweight champ of Florida right now. That would be the Tampa Bay Rays. That's right, guys. First team to 50 wins this season, okay? Our team is absolutely crushing it through injury, regardless of it. We got Pete Fairbanks back. That by itself was phenomenal. He actually led the win, or my bad, recorded the win. The other day, I believe it was against the A's. I think it was the A's game, or it might have been the Padres game, because that's who we're currently playing against. So we're going to get into that information right now. So, like I said, first team to 50. Our record is currently sitting at 51-22. Number 1 in all of the MLB. For those who have been sleeping under the rock the last few weeks, the last few months. I am absolutely adoring this team. This roster means a lot to me. It's definitely one of my favorite rosters. It's probably my favorite roster actually now that the Rays has ever had. Before that, it was Evan Longoria, and BJ Upton. I really enjoyed that team a lot, dude. I was much younger in those days, though. See, I'm showing my age a little bit. But that team was a lot of fun. I miss that team. And Longoria with one of the most amazing highlights ever, both on the field and off the field, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. But this is just such a blessing. As a Rays fan, let me tell you something. I've been living in Tampa now, Florida in general, 29 years. Okay, I'm 29 years old. We have never, aside from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't think we've ever had this level of excitement in Central Florida for any other team. Again, aside from Tampa Bay, you see what I'm saying? Not the Orlando Magic. Not obviously. Well, Tampa Bay took us a while before we won our first Super Bowl in 2002. Before then, obviously not Tampa Bay. College teams, the Florida International University, Florida Atlantic University. There's a lot of sports, okay, in Central Florida. A lot of sports in Florida in general, guys. One of the biggest hubs for sports in all of sports, in general of the United States. But everything's always ever been in North Florida, whether it be Gainesville, Tallahassee area with the Gators and the Florida State Seminoles, okay, because obviously, the Gators, they won a couple of titles in the early 2000s. They won one in the 90s with Steve Spurrier, and you had Florida State, Jameis Winston, perfect season, Heisman Trophy winner, national championship. Didn't do anything in the NFL, didn't do nothing for Tampa Bay, but he did a whole lot at Florida State, and that deserves its credit. I'm just going to put that in there because I don't like Jameis. I don't. He's with the Saints. I don't like the Saints. But anyway, guys, you get what I'm saying. We haven't had a lot to celebrate here in Central Florida, and that's one of the biggest things about the Tampa Bay Rays, because even though they're Tampa Bay Rays, they actually play until this stadium is complete. They play in St. Petersburg, which is basically across the little pond. And so a lot of us travel, right, from Tampa, Orlando, wherever, Pasco, Pinellas County, just to go see the Rays play baseball, guys. So that's something that we love. It's like almost a conjoined family, if you will, due to the fact that that's the case. But yeah, this team is absolutely lightning. I love this roster. What a phenomenal roster it is. Just to get into the details of what's coming up for them, just in case you don't know or you're looking forward to checking out what's going on, tonight is a packed night for what to watch. You guys know I'm normally give you something to take home as far as what to watch for tonight and tomorrow. Tonight's packed, guys. It's absolutely packed. We have at 7:15, the Rays versus the Padres is game 2 of a 3-game series in which the Rays took the first game 6-2 yesterday. Great batting, great defense, all around just the way you want to play baseball. Now, the Padres aren't playing the best baseball in the MLB. My apologies, guys. They're sitting at a 33-36 record, and the next game that will be played will be the final of the 3-game series, which is going to take place tomorrow at 4:10 p.m. All right, guys, that's 4:10 p.m. All right, third game against the Padres, last one to wrap up this series. Now, tonight, 7:15, that's going to be an ominous time flow for those who know what tonight brings as far as what to watch. This is just one of the many things that will be on tonight in case you're looking for it. So if you're a fan of baseball and you want to see the hottest team in the league, I encourage you to check out my Tampa Bay Rays tonight at 7:10 against the Padres, guys. Now, the next series that's going to happen is going to be a 2-gamer against the Orioles. That series will start Tuesday, June 20th. All right, so this Tuesday, and that will start at 6:40 p.m. All right, so dock that for your calendars, you guys who are looking forward to catch this 2-gamer against the Orioles. That game will be, like I said, June 20th, 6:40 p.m. That's a Tuesday. Get ready for it, guys. Hottest team in the league playing all week long, so you're not going to have to worry about missing any games. After that, I believe it's a 3-game series. I can't remember exactly who it's against, but this one, like I said, is one of the shorter series that we're ever going to see this season, and it's a 2-gamer against the Orioles, so get ready for that one, guys. Rays, keep it up. Like I said before at the beginning, we are so proud of you, and just in all of Central Florida. We're rooting for you guys. We believe in y'all. Keep going, keep going, keep going, and hopefully you guys will make it all the way to the tippy top, and we'll find ourselves winning our first Major League Baseball championship and our title, completing what would then be Title Town into the fullest, because then we will have had, get this, guys, a championship in every single sport that Tampa Bay represents. So that's pretty cool. All right, guys, so get ready for that. So the University of Tampa Bay's women's volleyball team won an NCAA championship back in 2021. It was their 4th national championship. So that's phenomenal. Thank you for that. I did not know that. So congratulations to them, even though I know this is a little bit, further on. I didn't know that our volleyball team was that good. So congratulations to them, and hopefully they can bring it back and do it again and keep it up, because there's been a lot of that going on, a lot of winning going on down here in Florida, and so, I'm just proud of it all, to be honest with you. And yeah, the Padres have been a bit of a disappointment this year. Hopefully they can rebound, but right now, I don't think it's going to happen against the Rays, guys. Not against the Rays. Hottest team in baseball, baby, so we got to keep it going. We got to keep the train rolling. You know how that goes. Not trying to step on any toes, but that one rhymed. Alrighty, so here we go right here to the NHL side of things. Here's a little bit more heartbreak for us here in Tampa Bay. And, well, a little bit, not as much as when the Bolts got eliminated, but, we wanted to keep the Stanley Cup here in Florida. Unfortunately, we were unable to do that. The Panthers were absolutely mopped against the Golden Knights. My apologies, that's Las Vegas, not Golden State. I am sorry, I'm misspeaking, guys. Hang with me. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Congratulations to the Golden Knights on their Stanley Cup victory. I will not say that it was well earned. I will say that you guys played they played a dirty game. The first couple of games were very rough on the Panthers, who came in with a let's win this series mindset, but they really got kicked in the face, the entire time. To the point where their spirit was broken. It was kind of evident that their spirit was broken, and it's no more evident than when you look at the final score of the final game in that series, which ended in a 4-1 disappointing, damn near sweep of the Florida Panthers. The final score was 9-3. Okay? As a fan, I'm flipping through the channels. I can't remember what day it was, but I think I had just gotten off of work. All right? And I get off of work, come here, it's about 6, and so I eat, do a couple of things before I know it, it's 8 o'clock, right? Flipping through the channel, see the game's on. As soon as I turn it on, the score is like, I think it was 6-2. I want to say it was like 6-2. I turn it on, right? It's 6-2, and the Golden Knights just wham, and they score again. It's 7-2. I turned it off, guys. We knew the series was over when we saw how the first 2 games were played. Vegas came out swinging like a heavyweight champ, all right? They were kicking behind, all right? But the problem is the Panthers could not match them. See, Vegas did a good job getting inside the Panthers' head by utilizing the physical side of the game just much better than the Panthers did. And when you do that, it's like Ray Lewis, It's almost like Ray Lewis. It's like, because I saw, Dad, shout out to you, Dad. I saw you put the thing in there about Ray Lewis, and yes, it's absolutely heartbreaking what happened to his son. I'll mention that again, I think, at the end of the show, because it's just so heartbreaking. But to utilize him as an example, you had players, you had teams who they know, let me not go across the middle when Ray is in coverage. Because if I do, I'm getting clotheslined. I'm getting speared. I'm getting destroyed. I'm getting broken in half, essentially. That is kind of what happened with Vegas. Vegas utilized the physical side of the game to their advantage much more than the Panthers did. As a result, they got underneath the skin and they got in the head of the Panthers, who then thought that they needed to, switch up the game plan and try different things, when the truth to the matter is you have to beat them at their own game. If you're unable to do that, you're unable to win the series, and that was what happened, guys. It's pretty evident, like I said, and you look at that final score and you could tell those guys were just tired and they want to get out of there, all right? So congratulations to Las Vegas, the Golden Knights. I believe that was their first Stanley Cup victory. So congratulations on their first Stanley Cup. And for the Panthers, guys, congratulations on making it to the series. I know this isn't exactly what you guys wanted, but on the flip side of it, hey, what a hell of a season. And hopefully you guys in the Bolts can come back better than ever. And we're letting everybody know that down here we can play hockey. All right? So, hey, just remember that, guys. Bolts, Panthers, both made the playoffs, deep runs, and we're proud of them both, what they're able to accomplish. In the end of the day, it wasn't our season, and here's hoping that sacrifice is for a greater good, which would be the Rays winning the Major League Baseball World Series. I'm just saying, you know what I mean, guys? Like, hopefully that's the reason why all of our teams were losing, is because there's a team that's going to win, and when they win, they're going to win big, right? So there's that. Let's go ahead and take our second break of the evening. When we get back, we'll finish off with what's going on tonight and tomorrow as far as wrestling and UFC is concerned, and what to watch as we get into this week, especially getting closer through this, not closer, but further into the summertime. It's only getting hotter out here, guys. So keep it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always is brought to you and powered by IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Yes, indeed. And guys, this again is Palm Tree Sports Radio. Now, I will let you guys know that Birmingham has scored with 4:49 remaining. What a deep ball out to the best tight end in the USFL right now. And the score is now 26-20. Like I said, under 5 minutes to go. That might be the go-ahead dagger for this game. And guys, it was a deep one. Looks like it was about a 45-yarder. So good job, Stallions. What a play. What a concept, too, because they just absolutely destroyed the two-man under zone, and they got the tight end one-on-one with the outside defensive back, and that's a mismatch. So there you go, guys. Good job. Great offensive play. I like it. I like it a lot. Hopefully some of the teams can pay attention to that and learn from it, see what they're doing there. Now, guys, what's going on tonight is there is a new wrestling show premiering for those who watch pro wrestling. Now, obviously, guys, like I said, I'm a huge sports fan. That also includes sports entertainment. And I figured there were some others out there who also into sports entertainment. That's why I wanted to include this little bitty part here at the end as we go over what to expect for today and tomorrow, your weekend TV cast, if you will. And so there is, like I said, a new show premiere. It's called AEW Collision. That premieres tonight. And I'm a big fan of AEW. What they've been able to do, aside from WWE, has been a lot of fun, a lot of work. And it's just something that if you guys are looking for great storylines, if you're looking for athleticism, if you're looking for some pretty cool characters, this is something I'll encourage you to check out. There are a bunch of returns taking place tonight for those who know about the pro wrestling circuit. And some of those who have been out for injury. Miro is returning. CM Punk is returning in his hometown of Chicago, Illinois. For those who are CM Punk fans, he'll be wrestling tonight. Obviously, there's also going to be a huge main event which features Samoa Joe, who's also returning to AEW Wrestling, has been here for a few months, as well as what's her name? Oh my goodness. The former women's champion is also returning. Her name dropped out of my head for a second, but just to give you an idea of what to expect for tonight. Again, this is the series premiere of AEW Collision. So if you've ever wondered, what it has to offer, if you've only ever watched WWE, or if you don't watch pro wrestling at all, or you haven't watched it for a long time, I would encourage you guys go check it out. The legendary Jim Ross will be commentating tonight, despite having a nasty fall today, but that man's a wrestling legend for those of you who know. And also, Tony Schiavone is also there for those who remember WCW back in the day. So, if you're looking for something else to watch that's a little bit more along the lines of the entertainment side, with a great story, that's what I would give to you for tonight. As well as tomorrow night is the pay-per-view featuring AEW's main roster as well as the IWGP roster. For this pay-per-view is one of the better ones. When I say better, I mean this is one of the more unpredictable. This is one of the ones where it's kind of sets up an angle for what's going to happen the rest of the year. It's AEW's version of SummerSlam, if you will. And it starts out with this phenomenal match that's going to be had between, I believe it was, who's wrestling Okada? So we have the IWGP, which is the New Japan Pro Wrestling Champion, who's coming over to the United States. They're going to be performing with the main roster, as I mentioned before, but it won't just be the champions. It'll be all kind of characters from over there. I believe Ozzy Open's going to be there. Will Ospreay's going to be there. Kenny Omega. A whole bunch of big names for those who watch, the pro wrestling circuit, like I said, because there's so much different material that's out there depending on what you like, the style of wrestling that you like is what I'm trying to say. So, guys, look for it to that tomorrow night. Forbidden Door is going to be absolutely phenomenal. The last Forbidden Door was great. I watched it last year with my old lady, and let's just say it was jaw-dropping. All right, there was a lot of talent on display, and it gives a good eye to what's going on over there in Japan, what they do for sports entertainment, guys. So that's something else to check out. And then finally, for the mixed martial arts bit that is coming to us tonight in the form of Fight Night, which is going to be one Marvin Vettori versus one Jared Cannonier, guys. These are both former middleweight title contenders. They both fought and lost to Izzy. Both Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier, this is their first time meeting, so if you guys are looking for the edge in this, I don't know who the favorite is, but I'm going to tell you right now, the deeper bag is Jared Cannonier. However, Marvin Vettori is a very consistent fighter, and it seems to be that he's also elevating his skill and his ability every time he gets into the octagon. So this should be a great main event for Fight Night, with a bunch of cards coming into the future, of course. The next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 2 or 3 months are going to be booked with UFC fight nights, pay-per-views, all kind of cards. And for those of you who are excited as excited as I am, my apologies, for UFC 291, I believe it is, that's going to be a huge card featuring a bunch of former champions and now champions, and it's also going to help scope out what's going to take place for the rest of the season. You guys know that when you have mixed martial arts, you have wrestling and things like that, and you have big shows, one of the things that they can do is set a cornerstone for where this organization is going to take, whether it be their fights, their storyline, or anything like that in the future. And that's what 291 is going to be. So this is the precursor to that, guys. So like I said, Fight Night, Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier. I'm going to go Cannonier by decision. Neither Vettori or Cannonier are notorious for finishing people. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and see what happens in the main event. Like I said, it's going to be a good fight, good card, and I look forward to the fight unraveling as it does. I think it's a 5-rounder too. Odds are whoever wins this is going to be putting themselves in line for a possible another title shot against Izzy. And Izzy, as I mentioned, has beaten both of these fighters before. Marvin Vettori twice, Cannonier once. So we'll see what happens next with that, guys. But that is what is going on for what to watch today and tomorrow night. Tomorrow is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to everybody out there who's listening, who's a father. I myself am a father. I have 2 beautiful children whom I love to pieces. And let me tell you guys real quick, if I may, that being a father is something that I didn't know that I wanted to do until it was time. And the way my life changed when my daughter was born was for the better. I learned to think about others more in depth than I ever had before. Not necessarily that I was a selfish individual, but I didn't know how precious life was until I had my children. And now my son, who just celebrated his 2nd birthday last month, is 2. He looks just like me. He looks just like my dad. Dad, if you could hear that, that's for you. He looks just like his dad and his granddad, and it's such a beautiful thing. And like I said, it taught me the value of how priceless life truly is and what's really important in today's world. So for all those who are fathers out there, I encourage you guys, as always, you're already going to do this, but spend time with your family, spend time with your kids, let them know that you love them, so that way when they get older, they can have the appreciation that I have for my father, who I would like to go ahead and shout out right now. Dad, I love you so much. Thank you so much for everything you've ever done for me. You have been my backbone along with Mom, but only you can show me it from a side of a male, as a man. So I want to say thank you so much on air, as the rest of you guys, I'm sure, are going to go thank your fathers. Dad, I love you. I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you so much for what you've done for me in my life. Now, with that being said, this show happens every Saturday evening, 6 p.m. I do my best to be here no matter what's going on, guys, and I hope that's more evident now than ever before. And I look forward to being here, same place, same time next week. Spend time with your family, guys. Enjoy the weekend. Get ready for a bunch of action coming up tonight and tomorrow night. No matter what sport you're into, there's going to be something for you. There's also going to be some USFL football tomorrow as well, in case you're missing out on that. So happy Father's Day again to all the fathers here. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers across the world. Thank you so much for being here at my show at Palm Tree Sports. My name has been Corey Pujols, and I appreciate you as always. It's powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'll catch you next time, and have a wonderful weekend, guys. Peace.